Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with this week's tech guest, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, remember, these are companies that I used as an AD. They're great companies. You should have them working for you. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our interview for Tech Tuesday, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Hudl for their support of the podcast. You know, as a football coach, I used Hudl for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Hudl school. Our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just love the platform. Go to Hudl.com, join the millions of users, and turn your school into a Hudl school. That's Hudl.com. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Gipper is the modern marketing platform that makes it easy for you to turn your athletic department's website into a social media destination. Gipper is used and trusted by over 20,000 high school and college athletic programs. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com for more information. And don't forget to mention the Educational AD Podcast. We also want to say thanks to Booster Hub, the #1 booster club software package. Things like sponsorship sales, concession sales, all of it goes through their secure system. Volunteer signups, volunteer changes. You know it's going to happen. Nothing falls through the cracks. Everybody stays engaged and connected. Give your boosters the platform they need. Give them the platform they deserve. And that platform is Booster Hub. Go to boosterhub.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Hometown. Hometown continues to be a leader in education-based athletics with their solutions that include things like, well, digital ticketing, of course, but how about fee-free fundraising with School Funder, athletic website connections, construction. Their list of services just goes on and on. Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, even a head coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time. It's going to show you how to raise more money. And they're going to show you how to bring your entire community together. You'll find it all at hometown.com. Let's also say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, at my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for student athletes, for coaches, even for parents. And here's the cool thing. The information that comes back, almost always over the top positive. We still get to hear from those squeaky wheel parents, but the surveys allow you to find out their concerns, usually address them before they turned into something big. But going back to that positive feedback, that's incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, sometimes your principal, sometimes even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. It's athleticsurveys.com. We also want to say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but guess what? My assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others. And while they were all earning their degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to say thanks to Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every single day for scheduling, rosters, results, communication, facilities. Did I mention athletic clearance and eligibility? That one alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com to get started. And as always, don't forget to mention the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and Beacon Creative, their content creation service. At Wall of Fame, they've been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade. But with Beacon Creative, they have a comprehensive range of additional services at no extra charge to get you started. Okay? Vital Signs believes that celebrating your school's achievements should be seamless and stress-free. So their team is here to assist you every step of the way. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com, click on Content Creation Services. You're going to be glad you did. That's Vital Signs Wall of Fame. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made. was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. And as always, don't forget to mention you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We are literally on the road today. We've got a couple of guests. Our athletic director guest is a podcast veteran. He was on a segment about a year ago. Welcome back, Ryan Miller. Ryan's a certified master athletic administrator. He's the director of athletics at Scotch Plains-Fanwood. That's up in New Jersey. Does a great job with his teams, his coaches, and his kids, and we're excited to have him back. Ryan Miller, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Okay. We're also joined by Shelby Sroka. Shelby is a senior success manager for a company called Hudl, one of our great sponsors. And Shelby and Ryan are going to be sharing, their perspectives on how Hudl can help you as an athletic director. Ryan, let's go and start with you. We always like to let our visitors have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us your quick bio, where you were born, where you grew up. As I like to say, give us your life story in 90 seconds.
Okay. So born and raised in New Jersey, right kind of smack in the middle of it. Attended Colonia High School, went on to actually graduated from 4 different colleges with an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate. And then I did a little bit of time in the United States Army, lived in Georgia for a bit, then moved back to New Jersey to become a teacher of English and a coach of football, girls basketball, and softball. And for the last 20 years, I've been an athletic administrator, with the last 16 of it being at Scotch Plains-Fanwood High School. I'm a member of the National Certification Committee as well as the National Teaching Faculty, and I'm on more committees than I care to admit to throughout the state and county in New Jersey.
Well, I guess thank you for your service, both to the United States and as an athletic director. And it's always great to connect with somebody who is serving or has served on the certification committee. I did that for, about 9 years, and just a great committee. I tell people it's the best committee in the NIAAA. Shelby, you and I have something in common. I've been in Florida since 2000. You're a Florida gal. Give the listeners your origin story.
Yeah, of course. I grew up in Gainesville, Florida, so lifelong Gators fan. I'm now living in Atlanta, Georgia. I work for Hudl fully remote. So my territory, I just cover the state of New Jersey. I've been with Hudl. This is going on my 4th football season. We always think in terms of the school year and season. So going into my 4th football season with Hudl. Been in New Jersey the whole time as a customer success manager. What that means is I help schools like Scotch Plains onboard their coaches, troubleshoot any issues they have going on, make sure all teams are fully engaged using the platform, using the tools that Hudl provides, and just helping schools through that process with engagement and utilization. So happy to be here today.
Oh, well, again, we're glad to have you. If you're new to the podcast, these Tech Tuesday segments, we like to have a representative of a company that definitely helps athletic directors do their job better. We also like to have an athletic director that's actually using the product. Now, with Hudl, you hear me say in our sponsor shout-outs, I used it for years as a football coach, and then as an athletic director, we were for many, many years, and still are, a Hudl school. All of our coaches, use the platform. I think most listeners are probably familiar with the video and the analytics, which are just tremendous. But Ryan, you've expanded Hudl to include a bunch of teams. Can you share with our listeners, how I'm going to use a word that's probably not accurate. How challenging was that to expand? Because I know you were a football coach. How challenging was that to expand from, let's say, just football to adding all the other teams?
It had its challenges in some sports, but not in others. So within volleyball, they were really clamoring for it. And within field hockey and soccer, it took a little bit more convincing about the value of the breakdowns. So all of the sports wanted the video footage because it was simple for them. The cameras were automated. You put in your schedule and everything is done. But the film breakdown, the look through of how can we improve our athletes by really analyzing the data and the analytics of what we're doing, was the hurdle to climb. So volleyball jumped up, and of course, the traditional arguments of, if you have it for football, what about us, came up. And rather than falling into the trap of adding one at a time, I made the decision to bulk package it for basketball, boys and girls lacrosse, field hockey, wrestling, really everybody. I have almost everybody except for our track programs, swimming, and I'm gonna eventually, with Shelby's help and Hudl's help, tackle the baseball softball conundrum of how do we best videotape those sports to get what we need. But the challenge was really having the coaches understand that there's a value in the data breakdown, and that value should then be progressed to your coaching and your ability to work with our student athletes.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. And I remember when we became a Hudl school, I was concerned that our coaches from the other sports, might not, appreciate all the things they can do. But it was just so gratifying. Even during that first year, I'd be walking through the gym, and our volleyball coach, had her cell phone out, and she's programming the focus cameras in the gym because she wanted to video practice. And then the same with our boys and girls basketball coaches. So, it was just really cool to see. Shelby, you've done this a ton for a school that maybe hasn't made the move yet, taken the plunge of having Hudl and becoming a Hudl school. What are some of the, I guess, questions that you hear from them, and how do you respond to them? Because as Ryan just said, and I've said, Hudl is a great platform. How do you help them grow with the product?
Yeah, a lot of the questions that we hear from ADs are similar to what you asked, Ryan. Like, how do you get all of your coaches onboarded? How do you get them trained? Because you don't want that to fall to the athletic director to have to train all these different sports on, things they might not be as familiar with. If you coach football, that's great. You can probably get your football coach up to speed if they need it. But the in-depth stat breakdowns, volleyball, lacrosse, soccer, if you don't have that background or know how to use the platform specifically for those sports, that's something that we want to take off the plate of athletic directors. So with a school-wide package with Hudl, every single school has someone like me, customer success manager, a CSM in that role. And our primary job is to onboard your coaches, get schedules added, train your coaches on how to use the stat breakdowns, how to use the cameras, how to get their athlete rosters added. And really just alleviate that kind of pain point with onboarding from ADs and just get everyone coached up. Even as more and more programs kind of come onto the platform, maybe, you went school wide, but only 3 programs are using it. As new coaches come on, we want to be able to provide that training and onboarding throughout the entire lifespan of a school who's on a Hudl package, not just that initial sign up phase.
Right. And I can certainly attest, I'm sure Ryan can too, that training is just so well done. That was one of the comments I got from my coaches when, again, we became a Hudl school was, wow, it's so easy, and they answered all our questions. They're always accessible. Some people are going to pick it up like that. Others, they're going to be calling, maybe a couple times a day, hey, how do I do this? But the Hudl people are always there. So that customer service, certainly a big part of the Hudl package. Ryan, let's talk live streaming. You and I were talking before we started to record. You do a ton of live streaming at Scotch Plains. How has that become just routine for you and your coaches, and what's the community response been like?
Well, I'll take that in opposite order. The community response has been fantastic. They are really excited that they can watch their student athletes participate, for especially the 4:00 games when moms and dads are struggling to get to the games on time. They know that if they stay at work, they can at least still see their student athlete participate. So that's been helpful. We basically loaded it into Hudl. It was really easy when you put a game schedule in to click, we're live streaming this. And it was just simple, and it was simpler. I'm making up words. I'm not going to tell you I taught English for a little while. Um, to just click that live stream as you're putting the schedule in and load it out. We started live streaming for our sub-varsity sports that are in the gyms because those student athletes deserve just as much publication as our varsity. They're working just as hard, and the communities have loved it. Uh, for us, it was simple. If we're putting schedules in, you're also putting in Hudl and you're clicking live stream, and made it a very simple process, easy to do. And it's between myself, the coach, and the athletic administrative assistant to all have a triple check on, did we do it right? And of course, the last check is with the cell phone of, oh my gosh, I walked in the gym and the light isn't green. And if the light isn't green on that camera, I got a problem. And, you know, the app on the phone is very simple. So standing right there, you can just put it right in and you're streaming. I had some pushback from some coaches. They felt like the live streaming would give other schools a free scout. I just kind of laughed at them nicely and said, everybody's scouting everyone. We're in a digital age. So this is about benefiting our families and our kids. This isn't about worrying about a scout. And quite frankly, if you're good enough, let them scout you and just go keep getting better. So turning that scout side, right? Our football coaches don't care about scouting. They're so used to it. But, you know, volleyball, field hockey, lacrosse, they were a little hesitant at first because they didn't have that scouting culture that basketball and football had. So, you know, really supporting the coaches in that. And then the nice thing about live stream, and if you're not doing this on Hudl, you should, you can live stream it while it's live and then keep it off of the public access website when the game is over. And that's really the button you want to click. It'll make your coaches feel better, and it'll still give you the live stream that your community wants.
That's such a great point. Again, using the live stream for live, but then making sure it's no longer accessible. That's going to take care of some of that scouting concern. And as a coach, that's what you want. You want your opponents, spending time not coaching their own kids, but worrying about your team. I love that. Let's go and stick with you and the Hudl platform. Now, Hudl's expanded over the years. They now do digital ticketing, and I know that's been very successful for you. As an AD, I think the last thing an athletic director wants is one more task that they have to do. What's your day-to-day experience like with the digital ticketing? And I guess maybe talk about the revenue that's generated too.
So revenue-wise, I actually don't have my finger on the pulse of the revenue itself, because that goes to our business office, and I just see the account goes higher, so I'm very happy. We're very lucky in Scotch Plains-Fanwood, where our ticket revenue goes directly into an athletic checking account to pay for tournaments for teams, and it's allowed us, what I can say is, digital ticketing has allowed us to have more sub-varsity tournaments for basketball and volleyball than we've ever had before. And it's allowed us to have more tournaments for our novice, non-varsity track athletes. So that money, when it comes in, directly has a positive impact on our athletic program. So it's wonderful. In terms of the day-to-day, it's a matter of process. If I'm in Hudl scheduling for games, then I'm also clicking over and scheduling for tickets. And with the ticketing, it's myself and the athletic administrative assistant that manage that, because I don't want the coaches getting into that depth of what we're doing. And what I'm excited about this year is we used it for single game purchases, and now I'm going to expand it to season passes. So I'm excited to learn about that more in July. And my other trick of the trade, and Jake, you probably did this, July is a great month to load in all of your base information for your fall and winter sports that need tickets. Like, what are you doing today? Well, today I'm loading in tickets. Why? Because no one's going to bother me. It's July, and I could do this in a relative comfort zone. So I utilize July. to get my schedule straight, and my schedule is not considered complete until Hudl streaming and Hudl ticketing are completed.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And you open the door. Shelby, I'm going to come back to you. Ryan talked about going from single ticket purchases to season tickets. You've probably done this for a number of schools. Talk to that, that grumpy old AD, maybe somebody living in Florida, who's never done this, who's tech challenged, and explain how you help them set up the single tickets and also the season tickets.
Yeah, so similar to how when we have a school sign up for a school-wide package, we do that coach training and onboarding. We do the same thing for ticketing. We actually have my counterpart in the state. His full-time job is just ticketing and the fan page. So we have someone to help onboard ADs, typically AD, or as Ryan mentioned, his assistant will jump on and we'll show them how to set up those single game tickets, how to set up those passes. But typically it's easy enough for, Ryan can just email me, say, I want season passes for basketball. This is the price. This is how many I want to sell. We go and can do it for them. So it's a very collaborative process. We're happy to take that off your plate and kind of handle that on the back end for athletic directors, but it's also easy enough to go in and set it up. Like most of Hudl's platform, it's pretty user friendly. We design it that way on purpose, right? So it's super simple for an AD to go do it themselves. But again, happy to just kind of take that off your plate. If you just communicate with us kind of what you're looking to do, we can make it happen.
Now, we've talked about, Hudl from the video and the analytics, the live streaming, the ticketing. Shelby, from your perspective, what's a feature of the school program that you, I guess maybe you see that some of the schools they're just not using that you think they should be using, that they're missing out on a great feature? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, we actually have some new products that are rolling out and some things that are in the works that I think athletic directors in particular will be very excited about. We're developing an athletic director dashboard. So it'll be kind of like a one-stop shop on the back end for Ryan to be able to see, tickets sold, what events are coming up, the live stream schedule, the coaching schedule, quickly add coaches or add athletes all in one spot without having to jump from team to team like you do currently. While that's in the works, some other things that we're building out to kind of supplement that is our registration platform. So similar to tickets, if coaches are running clinics over the summer or you need a digital platform to register your athletes for sports and participation, that's something that Hudl can cover now. So as we kind of look to be this one-stop shop for everyone, for coaches, athletic directors, fans, those are the first steps that we're taking in that direction. And I think something that athletic directors will be really excited about once we're fully all in on that AD dashboard.
Oh, wow. One more thing, and then Ryan, I'm going to come back to you. We just recently did a segment with an athletic director, a good friend of mine here in Florida, Charlie Cerny at Mount Dora High School, and he talked about a platform, I'm probably going to say this wrong, but it's like Hudl Studio, where the kids were incorporating that into the live stream. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think you're talking about Production Truck, the
Production Truck. That's it.
software.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. So Production Truck is included in all of our Hudl packages, and that's just a broadcasting software that either a professional at the school can take on and use that broadcasting software to kind of, we call it like ESPNify your high school live stream and your broadcasts. But it's great for students too. If you have students who are interested in broadcasting or sport journalism, to get them involved. There's even a way to set it up where you don't actually have to go live. So if you're not ready to release your students to broadcast live, we can do mock live streams. But they're able to use that technology and that software to really kind of jazz up the live stream. A lot of schools would take advantage of that and do in-game ads and sponsorships as a way to generate revenue aside from pay-per-view, aside from the ticketing revenue, and get sponsors involved with the live streams while giving students an access to be able to get involved and use Hudl if they're not necessarily an athlete.
Right. And that's exactly what they did. They sponsorfied their broadcast with Production Truck. I love that tagline. And they used it, what they use it for, to buy more, Hudl equipment. So,
Yep.
Speaking of those extra cameras, Ryan, coming back to you, You said that you recently added more cameras and coaching tools. Was that just a natural, organic thing that grew out of the Hudl experience, or was there another motivation?
No motivation at all, other than if a great company was offering something, then I want what they continue to offer. So we have three stationary cameras. We have two outside turf fields. We're very blessed as a district, and then we have our indoor camera. But when the Flex came out, I started thinking about the ability for a coach to take that with them to an away game that may not have Hudl, or can we use it for baseball? Which no, it wasn't a great fit. But and then could I use it for ice hockey, where we were traveling to different ice hockey rinks? And that's what kind of brought it out. And it was just a step in the process of, again, we've bought into Hudl, so let's keep working with their tools and expanding our cameras. And it, I guess the final piece is it became that equity side for me of not fair to ice hockey that they're not in our gym or on our turf fields, and why should they be treated less than another team? And so that's really where it came from. The Flex camera's been great. We like using it. Some coaches are better at it than others, and others are jealous. And I tell them, then let's get you some training. And if you want to use it, the answer is yes. It's not a hard scenario, but the yes means you're putting in some equity as well. I'm not going to sit here and be your camera person. I love you, but there's 31 other sports that I'm covering, and you got to put in some equity to learn this. And they've bought in, which is great. I don't know if Shelby's going to bring it up, but we expanded to their Titan GPS units, and I really can't wait to use those with our soccer program. Our soccer team has been asking for the GPS locators for years, and we've never been able to afford it, and we never had a platform that was so well married to it. And I'm very excited to see how our boys soccer team is going to utilize that. They're our test program for this year, and how they're going to utilize that to just continue to make our athletes better. And really, really excited about the upcoming year.
Well, let's go and jump on that, Shelby. We're going to ambush you here. Let's talk about that GPS feature.
Yeah, so Titan is a company we acquired, I believe, last summer, and it's GPS wearable devices. So similar to if you've seen like the athletes, professional athletes, wear that vest and they have a little chip in the back. So just like that, our Titan units fit right in under your pads, under your uniform, and they give athletes and coaches data like top speed, number of times they're accelerating in a game, number of times they're sprinting, what you define as a sprint, location data of where they are on the field at any given point. So it's great for athletes for recruiting, from a recruiting standpoint, to, if they can go show recruiting coaches, the speeds they're hitting in a game, top speeds, how many times they're sprinting in a game. And then from a coaching perspective too, kind of see where their athletes are on a field, if they're in the right spots, or if they need to give some coaching cues to kind of reevaluate where they're playing on the field. So we're excited to have Scotch Plains, try those out this year. Depending on your package level, we allot a certain amount. So we're excited to get, boys soccer on board, and hopefully be able to share those with football, girls soccer, lacrosse, track. Really seems to like them too. So excited to bring those to the program too.
Wow, that's incredible. The old expression from 100 years ago when I was still playing, the camera doesn't lie. Well, now, wow, the technology is really taken off. Ryan, one last question, then we're going to let you go. I know it's an incredibly busy time. You're all in on Hudl. It's obvious, and it is a great platform. There's no question about it. What would you say to one of our listeners who just at this point, hasn't made that plunge? They haven't even dipped their toe in the water. What would you say to convince that athletic director, hey, this is something you should really check out?
So the first thing that's going to hit you a little bit is the cost of Hudl in comparison with some of the competitors. And I looked at it from a perspective of, I'm going to get what I'm paying for. So if I'm going to go with a lower end product, I'm going to get a lower end result. And I think when you're looking at onboarding into a program, go with the one that has consistently said, I'm not good enough yet, but I'm going to continue to improve. Hudl listens to feedback from athletic administrators and coaches. I've seen that feedback live and in person where they've made alterations, they've made updates. If cost is a problem, they have a variety of sponsorship packages and things you can do to offset your cost for Hudl through whether it's digital ticketing and profit sharing or ads on your live stream or ads on the fan.hudl.com page. They're in with you knowing that finances are a struggle, but you're also going to get immediate service whenever you call. And I did try a competitor for about 2.5 months. And when I found out that their video people were not available after 5 p.m. Eastern on Fridays, and my football games start at 7, that's a pretty big concern for me. If my video goes down in the middle of a football game and I can call Hudl and they have 24/7 support, that's worth its weight in whatever price we pay. So the other piece is we live in a society that is no longer as validating to the expertise of the athletic administrator and coach. When you have film and you have data that says this is where we are, this is where your student is, this is where the student is that's starting, it just helps those conversations become clear. And one of the mottos we have in Scotch Plains-Fanwood is clear is kind. So if I'm very clear with my student athlete, clear with my parent, that's the kindest thing I can do. It may not be what they want to hear, but it's clear, direct, data focused, and factual, and no longer, well, I feel like this student is better. Those words unfortunately don't work in our society anymore. And we can fight that back by providing film and data.
Yeah, again, great stuff. I always, try to respond to people. Well, there's cost, that talks about price. There's value, that denotes quality. And so there's no question, the Hudl might cost a little bit more, but the value is you just can't put a price tag on that. Shelby, if one of our listeners wants to, and listeners, you should, reach out, find out more about Hudl, how they can get at their school. What's the best way that they can get a hold of you or somebody at Hudl?
Yeah, so most of my New Jersey athletic directors, I think, are sick of hearing from me. They know where to find me. If you're a new athletic director or just want to learn more about Hudl, I think your best first stop is support@hudl.com. Shoot them an email. They will direct you to the correct person. Every state has a different rep dedicated to that state or to that part of the state. So they'll get you in the right direction and get you in the right hands.
Okay. And Ryan, if an athletic director wants to, reach out and talk to you, how you have developed Hudl at your school, what's the best way they can connect with Ryan Miller?
So email is always good. rmiller at S as in Sam, P as in Paul, K as in Kilo, 12.org, spfk12.org. Or my cell phone is best because none of us are in our offices anymore. So the cell phone is 732-362-6825. And I'll pick up, I promise.
No, and I love that. And Ryan's information is also on the NIAAA membership portal for our NIAAA members. And both Shelby and Ryan can be found on LinkedIn. Thanks to both of you for coming on this episode of Tech Tuesday. All the best as we wrap up spring sports and a successful year. And looking forward to the next time we can have each of you back on the podcast.
Thank you
I'll
so
say
much.
yes.
Okay. For our listeners, we want to thank you for tuning in and remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of these interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Tech Tuesday just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Hey, before we go one more time, we want to give a shout out to our great sponsors, including Hudl. Go to hudl.com. You've heard me say I've used it for years as a football coach, also used it as an AD. We were a Hudl school and still are. Go to hudl.com. want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys. If you're not using a survey to check the pulse of your student athletes, your coaches, your parents, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Sideline Interactive, probably one of the best purchases I ever made as an athletic director. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Hometown, with their suite of solutions like digital ticketing, fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction, you can't go wrong. Go to hometown.com. Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration, check them out. Booster Hub, it's the #1 booster club software program. Go to boosterhub.com. Home Campus, it's a platform you're going to use every single day. Check out homecampus.com. Gipper, turn your social media website into a destination for your student athletes, your coaches, your parents. Go to gipper.com. And Vital Signs Wall of Fame and Beacon Creative. Check out Vital Signs Wall of Fame content services. See all the great things they can do for you and your school. Thanks again for listening to this segment of Tech Tuesday. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.